Hotep, hotep. Ma'at and Makaru, I'm in here, and welcome to Melanin Mondays with Ma'at. First up, we would like to apologize for last night's stream. We thought we were streaming the whole time. We had a ball in our session last night, but we thought, we saw the video on and we thought we were streaming, and we didn't realize until afterwards that nothing went up on YouTube. So I'm going to do my best to recap this morning everything that we covered yesterday. All right, so we call this Melanin Mondays because we deal with specific issues that um, happen for melanated folks. It's under the guise of what's in your womb. However, men are always welcome. Men were always welcome with what's in your womb as well, because we all need to know what's in our wombs. Okay, so because what's the joke that they say about men? They came out of the womb and then they spend the rest of their life trying to get back in one. So every male has a womb that he's in from one time or the other. So he needs to know what's in his womb as well. Uh, so yeah. So Melanin Mondays. So one of the things that we want to do is first become familiar with what our gift is on this planet, and it is melanin. And when you break the word melanin down, it means light. Okay, so we know that even the sun is a big black ball. So only something that black can give off that much light. So think about who you are. Okay, so I recommend that we get familiar with the melanin molecule. I am not an expert on melanin. I just start reading like everybody else. Okay, so this is Timothy Owens Moore, Dark Matters, Dark Secrets, and he breaks down the melanin molecule, what it does on the skin, what it does in the brain, in the organs, and things like that. But it's a gift that we have, and you can check. I have a video on the YouTube channel called Melanin and Emotions, and just talking about the energy of it. Okay, but I do recommend to get familiar with it. And there are other people who, Dr. Africa has a book on it. You can go on YouTube. We know about, everybody talks about it. Dr. Joel Pukaram. But just check this out and get to know it. What I recommended last night, because I'm doing it myself, is Google like the melanin molecule and see what it looks like. Okay, and just look at it, because what starts happening is it starts activating things in you. Start getting information about yourself just by looking at the geometry of you. Okay, of what most of you is. Your skin, this is the largest organ on your body, and it is a receptor. It picks up everything. Okay, it's your skin, your hair, things like that. So I recommend taking a look at it and seeing, what happens. Even draw it out, but get familiar with you. All right. So now our subject in this session is soul-ality versus personality, or personality versus soul-ality. And what do we mean by that? Okay, so what's the difference? Let's start with what's the difference between what a personality is and what a soul-ality is. Okay, so in most cases, if I ask the question, how many of us have souls? Everybody say, yeah, I got a soul or whatever. So what I'd like to do is really kind of change that around and say, your soul, you have a body. So you are the soul and you have a body. Now, immediately, probably what happened when you think about yourself in that way is that you have there's a little shift, because then now all of a sudden you're not feeling yourself in your body. You're kind of feeling yourself around, and you are then now animating a body. It's a little different than being in a body and being trapped. How can a soul encase? How can a body encase a soul when a soul is so vast? It's everywhere. It's in everything. So you're not locked in a body. No, you all over. You within the body, but you're not just encased in a body. You are a soul and you have a body. Okay, so that now just gives you a different perspective of how to look at things. So now when we're talking about a personality, then what's the personality? Well, the personality is kind of it's a construct. It's something that you created. It's your software that you created to deal with this third dimensional reality. And unfortunately, what happens with personalities is because we don't know our natural order. You can tell I was talking a lot last night. I was laughing a lot last night. But you can tell we are out of order. So when you find out what the natural order of things should be, you'll find out that that personality is a small part of you, not the biggest part of you. Because what happens with the personality is you get locked into, well, I'm like this. And let me tell you, so if somebody would have said that to me, I would have done this. That's personality. What does the soul say about it? In most cases, the soul doesn't care. Not in the same way as personality. The soul might recognize uh, another individual that says something that could be rude or whatever, may even just recognize that person as themselves coming back at them uh, in another form. Oh, shoot. That was this crazy thought that I created, 2 weeks ago. Couldn't pull it back in time, and here you go right here. You know what I'm saying? A whole different thing. The soul is also unlimited. The soul is free. The soul can do anything, can know anything, can get any information. The personality feels despair. The personality feels frustrated. Oh, I can't do this. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, shoot, I have all these problems. That's a personality. In most cases, that is what is leading us. And it is also the thing that limits us, that keeps us from recognizing our dark secrets. Okay? It keeps us from being able to effectively activate the gifts that we have created in this body. Because, see, I'm not dissing the body, because the body by itself is freaking phenomenal if we let it do what it's supposed to do. It has a specific function, and it has a specific order. So when we are in order, when we realize that we are a soul first, and that everything comes from the soul, then then the body goes into its natural state and says, oh yeah, that's right, because what I am basically is just I'm a reflection. I'm the physical component of the soul, and I reflect back to the soul what it is. Soul is unlimited. The body's unlimited. Okay, and it can do some fantastic things. And again, when you are in the original human form with all of this melanin and having a full spectrum of light all over you and everywhere, your eyes, your hair, your ears, everything, your body, everything, um, then you can do some wonderful things by just getting in order. But you really have to decide that you're going to release that personality. And that, you know, initially it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard decision to make because sometimes we like our personality. You know, 20 years ago, um, I was um, very confrontational. I was this professional, black, bougie person and very professional. I was very confrontational. Um, and I just had this um, thing about me where, I wish you would say something to me. I wish you would cross in front of me and don't say excuse me. I wish you would, whatever, because you was gonna get it. And then I had money on top of that. Okay, come on, man. You couldn't tell me nothing. But that was my personality. But I'll tell you what, it took a lot. If you really think about it, it takes a lot to be that. It takes a lot not to be free. It takes a lot to be like, to be like this all the time. And to, what more, I mean, I guess that's more like a dude, but, to just be so into, you know, this is how I am. And I wish somebody would, or whatever. I'm saying it takes a lot. You got to keep that up. You feel confined with that. When you are a soul, you are free. You feel free to just do whatever. So, you have to you got to get to the point where you're miserable with that. And you're not getting the results that you want. Most of us are here because we do understand something about ourselves. We understand that we have a higher purpose and we have a high divinity, and that we really realize that we're a soul. So, you know, the soul, though, is that free will thing. You get free will. You can do whatever you want to. But the cool thing about the soul's always there every day, just typing at you like this. Hey, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Tapping at the personality. Hey, dude, listen, come. What you doing? What you doing? You gonna be miserable again? Okay, there you go again. All right, but it never gets tired. It don't sleep. It don't need to rest. It don't get tired. That's its body. Okay, that's its personality. So it's continually trying to take back the control and trying to remind the personality, hey, whatever, you know, let me in there, let me run this, because that's how it's supposed to be. And, I'll make sure we have a good time in this third dimension. All right. So, that's the difference between the personality and the soulality. So one of the questions that came up last night was, um, how do you know, like, you got these voices in your head. How do you know which one is the soul? How do you know which one is the personality? Okay. Now, most people say, oh, the soul that's the quiet one. It's the one that's the subtle voice or whatever. And that's, I guess that's true or whatever. Um, I like to, because, but then you're questioning, well, the subtle, I heard a quiet voice that told me, I needed to go throw my baby off the rail. It was quiet. Was that the soul? I know that's a little um, demented, but anyway, I'm just saying. So I don't know about that. So what I would recommend, and this is something that works. Now, if you know your energy centers in your body, you know about the heart chakra. And so they say the heart chakra is the seat of the soul. And so one way of coming in touch with the soul is to, one, just focus here in the heart chakra. And you want to take, you know, a few deep breaths. Okay. Now, what you're going to start to feel is your heart beating real, real fast. And you know why? Because that is the personality giving up its control. And the soul is coming through. And so what you're going to, it's like the first time I did it was kind of scary because I was like, oh, shoot, what the, what's happening? But you want to keep breathing. Just keep breathing and relax through it. It'll stop. The heart will go down. Don't fight it. Let the soul come in. Okay? And you're going to keep breathing and keep breathing. And what's going to happen is that you'll get calm. And you want to just take a minute and just feel how you feel when you are focusing in on the heart chakra. Okay? And just keep doing it and keep doing it for as long as you need to do it. And you'll see you're gonna have a little different feeling. You may not feel like you're in your body. You might feel like your body's in you. Haha. uh, and it's a different feeling. So um, from this point, I mean, I would say practice. This is not an instant thing. This is something that you do have to practice and you do have to work on, because in a few minutes that personality is gonna pop right back in, and because that's where it's been doing that since birth. Okay, so it's gonna pop back right back in and say, I got this. you know so but if you are determined to put your bodies back in order, in their natural order, one, just be determined to do it, and two, ask for it. Say, look, I want to know how I'm really supposed to operate. I realize now that, okay, so I got a body, I got a personality, I got a soul, and you really have more than that. Okay, but even if we just start with those, put them in order. Now, some people say there are in the Kemetic um, cosmology, also the Olmec, they all talk about the five bodies. Okay, there's really probably even more than that, but let's just talk about five. Okay, your soul, your guide, your spirit, okay, your physical body, because it has its own spirit as well. It has its own energy and how it operates. Um, and it's funny because when I said this last night, they was like, "What you mean? The body has its own thing?" Man, we do this all day. You on Facebook, and they have this thing. Find out your body type. Find out how your body um processes. The metabolism of your body. What's your body shape? What's the best swimming suit for your shape and size? What do you think that is? It's telling you that your body has its own profile, has its own energy signature, its own personality, if you will, as well. You have a mental body, okay, and then you also have your emotional body, okay. And so these are things that, so we are multi-dimensional beings. So let's just get out of thinking that this is it, and thinking how you think, I'm like this and this is what I do. That's it. Because then that's going to keep you in one dimension. You're multi-dimensional beings. So just decide you're going to throw all that out and say, okay, well, let me find out what all these dimensions are that I operate in. And what can I do with it? And what's the order of it? How's it supposed to be, in place? So don't believe me. Shoot, ask yourself. Okay? You ain't got to believe me. Ask yourself. Or ask yourselves and see what happens. And decide that you're going to be in your natural order. You're going to be a soul first, a divine being first. And then everything else is going to fall into place after that. Now, it sounds great. Oh yeah, that's great. I'm a soul, whatever. Okay, but listen. Every work I go to work every day, and everybody get on my nerves. How am I going to be a soul in that? And these are some of the questions that came up. How do I, be a soul and everybody gets on my nerves at work, and I can't stand my mate. I'm not married. I want to be married, and all these things. Okay, because this is the stuff that you know makes us a part of the third dimension. So there were some all I can tell you is about some of the techniques that I use and I have used to get to the point. And I realized that at a certain point, I was operating uh, more from a being perspective or a soul perspective than a personality. When I was sitting around, people having conversations, saying, "Well, I'm like this and I'm like that," or whatever, and I said it, and I didn't do it consciously, just out of my mouth. I said, "Hey, um, so my personality is like this." So right there, that told me that I was not identifying myself as a personality. I could see my personality. I was a soul, and I was talking about a part of me. You see what I mean? So I wasn't saying I'm like this. I was saying, well, my personality tends to be aloof, and my personality, I'm very good at this. Now, that's not to say that I don't never get into my personality, because please, come on, man. It happens. But the difference is I recognize it when it's sometimes in mid sentence, because this came up last night too. Like, okay, so we know it's the personality that cares about a lot of these emotional things and a lot of interpersonal relationships and conflict that we have in relationships. So what do you do when you in it? What do you do when somebody pushes that button and they got you? I've been there. Okay. I've been there plenty of times. Okay. So what I said is, sometimes what I do is I catch myself in mid um, sentence, and I would just pull back and say, "Oh shoot, I ain't doing this. I got other stuff to do. I'm not trying to be a personality. I need to find out. I want my stuff in order, because I want my body to be able to tell me what's happening in a 360-mile radius around it. I want my body to regrow limbs if I need to. I got some missing teeth in the back. I'm not gonna show y'all, but I don't want to go to the dentist. I'm 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 serious. I'm gonna get these joints to grow back. I can't do that as a personality. I can do that though as a soul, because the soul is unlimited, and the soul knows what the body can do. Okay, the soul knows that the body's unlimited. So I can't do that if I'm sitting here having all this conflict and stuff like that. So sometimes I'll catch myself in mid sentence and say, you know what, to whomever that I'm having a conflict with, because it ain't nobody but me anyway. And we'll talk about that. We went into that in depthly last night, but I'm not going to do that here. But just, hear me out. I once you make the decision, one, that you're going to have your cells in natural order, and that you're going to move out of just being a personality. So if you make that commitment, then it's easy for you to, when you're in conflict, say, you know what, even when you're in it, say, you know what, hey, such and such, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I made a decision that I'm going to really do my best to operate at my higher self. Because you can say that, because anybody going to, you ain't got to be all esoteric with them. I'm just going to operate at my higher self. And I'm not doing that right now. So thank you for letting me see where I am and what I need to work on. So I'm going to stop this right now. Walk away. Most of the time, that person's going to look at you like, what the... they might even keep going after you. But you made that decision, and you are transparent enough, because you're a soul, to say, hey, I'm not doing this. I don't do this. I'm a soul. Why? What do I need to argue with you for? That's just crazy. You're just an energy field. Okay, but you're going to get caught out there. I'm not saying, but it becomes easier and easier. Another thing, I was telling people, one of the things that I did early on, I started this maybe about a year and a half ago. I have these beads. These are 108. These are chanting beads. I don't yes, I'm a high priestess in the Kemetic traditions, and I know a little bit of metanoia. I know a little bit of Yoruba, whatever. Um, I like to keep things very simple and very practical. I like to use that for what its purpose is. But um, when I'm really trying to move myself into order, I have to make a statement that resonates with everything, and especially the personality. Personality speaks English. The personality has been trained, in a certain way. So it's okay that I don't I yes, I do use this for anything that I'm saying in metadata or anything. So, but I don't no, I don't do that for this type of thing because I want the personality to move out the way. So I just make it fun. That's just me. So for I don't know how many months I did this. I don't know how many times, but anytime I would catch myself in that feeling, and that feeling of distraught, despair, frustration, this, that, or whatever. But I knew I was a soul, and I had made that commitment that I was going to be a soul, and I didn't want to have that feeling. And understanding that the soul is unlimited, and the soul knows. So I said, hey, the soul knows. And so I just took my little beads and say, hey, I'm a soul, and the soul knows how to flow. I'm a soul, 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 soul knows how to flow. Well, 108 times. And if I didn't have a different feeling after that, I do this while I'm driving, or whatever. I'm a good driver, so it's okay. It's on the side. I'm not like this, in front of the steering wheel. But I do it while I'm driving, while I'm riding, while I'm walking, or whatever. And what happens is what you're doing, literally what you're doing is you are reprogramming your DNA. You're reprogramming your neurons to think differently. You're reprogramming all of the cells in your body to now get back into natural order. Now that's what worked for me. Um, you can just keep telling yourself, every time something happens, say, hey, I'm a soul. You don't have to have chanting beads or whatever. You can just keep saying, hey, I'm a soul, I'm a soul, I'm a soul, I'm a soul, I'm a soul. And just knowing that you unlimited, and until you get the feeling of being unlimited, if you're still frustrated and you're saying that you're soul, you're gonna have to try something else. But you have to continue in the beginning. You have to keep reminding your personality. You got to tell it to get in this lane and get in this place, its proper place, which is not the lead role. Okay, so it takes practice. It's not something that happens overnight. But the first step is just knowing and realizing and making that commitment. And once you make that commitment, then that basically what you did is open up the door for the soul to now be a little bit more forceful with you. Um, and hey, didn't you just make a commitment that hey, you gonna let me run this stuff now so that we can have some good times here while we're looking at ourselves in the third dimension? You told me, so let's do it. Move out the way. Let me handle this. Let me handle this. And so it worked. I mean, I made up all kinds of little rhymes with the soul. Soul knows how to flow. The soul knows where energy goes, or whatever. And you have to become a little bit more comfortable. And I know it was difficult for me, not knowing, but having the confidence that when that you would know when it was the right time to know. And I like to know it up front. Okay, how's it gonna go and all of that stuff. And so you have to be you have to gain that confidence, but you got to step out there first. And the first step is committing yourself to being in natural order. Okay, being in ma'at, in natural law. in natural order with yourselves, with all of them, being a multi-dimensional person, so that you can access. There are things that are going on this planet, in this universe, that we as melanated folks are designated to um, monitor, to produce, to create, to think about all of these, all of the pyramids, all of the mounds, all of the, okay, that was us. Why did we do that? And they're here like forever. They can't even destroy the thing. They want to. You know what I'm saying? They're virtually indestructible. So why did they leave them here? Um, and knowing that the people that created them looked like us, but they had access to more of themselves than we do. So what are we supposed to be doing? You think we supposed to be sitting around here, um, not having enough of everything, watching on Facebook as um, you know our people who look like us are beaten and killed and everything, and with no retribution? That's not what we're here for. And we came with a gift. Come on, man. Nobody can figure out how those how they move those stones. Because if they could have figured them out, they would be doing them by now. Who you think knows already? Okay. So this is another reason to make that decision. Because we have stuff that we supposed to be doing here, and we not doing it. Because we sitting around being personalities, fighting each other, arguing about stuff that don't matter, and literally not using one of the most, we're not using what we have. And we have to relearn now how to use those things and how to put these things in natural order. Now, the other thing that I'm going to say that probably makes it a little easier, I'm just giving you all of the steps, is that, and you'll see on the profile, is I'm rain balanced. So that's not necessarily a magic pill either. However, it makes these things a whole lot easier. And so my brain is balanced, so it's a little easier for me to step in and out of certain situations. I think about things a little differently now than I did, I'm going to say 2-3 years ago, before I went through the process. It is definitely a worthwhile process. If you want more information, I use the Dr. Jules Brain Balancing Program. You can go to my website. There's a link there for that. I highly recommend it. A lot of people say, oh, I don't need to do that. I've already done a lot of work on myself and all of that stuff. And that's great, because I'd already done a lot of work on myself too, but was still frustrated. All this does is it basically enhances all of the work that you have already done on yourself. And that level of frustration that you have with knowing that you did for years, you've been working on this, you've been doing this for 15 years, and this, that, and the other, all it does is enhances all of what you have been doing. And it makes it pop like it should. And for people who are entry level and novices, I say go ahead and do it in the jump. Don't wait 15 years. Don't wait. Do it now, because it's going to help you, and you'll move that much faster. You won't be talking about all the work you did 15 years ago, and you still frustrated. Just do it now. So that is, if you go to my website, what'sinyourwomb.com, you will find links for the brain balancing program. And you will find information about this video. And the next ones that we have coming up on Melanin Mondays, I would like to invite you guys to ask any questions that you have or you would have had last night if you had been on, if we had realized that we were not streaming. Um, you can post those questions in the link below on the YouTube page. You can send me an email to my at what'sinyourwomb.com, and we'll make sure those questions get answered. You can go to the Facebook page. There's so many links, so go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and close it up here. Thank you for your attention. We're going to do this again. I don't know the date. I think it's going to be July. It's not the 11th. It's probably July 17th is the next Melanin Monday that we're going to have. Um, don't quote me on there. Just look on the website. The dates are posted there, and it be at 8 o'clock again on a Monday night, and we will be streaming because we're gonna practice and make sure that we have it right. And then again, if you are in the Raleigh Durham area, we invite you to come into Vegan Flavor Cafe and join us in house. We had so much fun last night. It was just, and the next time it'll be a little more interactive because you'll be able to interact with the people who come in house and for their questions and stuff. And we had a lot of fun last night. So thank you, and we will see you on the next one. All right, Hotep.